Every day, thousands of people walk through these doors. Most never stop to look around. They arrive, they connect, they board, then they leave. For them, it's simply another airport, another stop on another journey. But behind the departure gates lies one of Africa's most important aviation hubs, a place where continents meet, where aircraft arrive and depart throughout the day, carrying millions of passengers between Africa, Europe, North America, the Middle East, and beyond. This is Casablanca International Airport, Morocco's largest airport, the country's busiest gateway, and one of the most strategically positioned airports on the African continent. Today, the journey slows down. Instead of rushing to the gate, it's time to discover what makes this airport far more remarkable than most travelers ever realize. We start the journey from Cape Verde, a small island nation in the middle of the Atlantic that has built its future around tourism, international connections, and its position between continents. At Nelson Mandela International Airport, passengers are preparing for a flight that will connect two very different worlds. Ahead lies Casablanca, Morocco's largest city and one of Africa's most important aviation gateways. For many passengers boarding this flight, Casablanca is not the final destination. It is the bridge. A bridge connecting Africa with Europe, North America, the Middle East, and the rest of the world. At first glance, this appears to be an ordinary international flight. But hidden inside this journey is a much bigger story about how one airport helped transform an entire country. As passengers enter the aircraft, the diversity of the journey becomes clear. There are Cape Verdeans returning home, tourists continuing their African adventures, business travelers carrying documents and laptops, passengers connecting to cities they may never have visited before, and among them are many Chinese travelers. At first, their presence seems unexpected on a flight leaving Cape Verde. But this is a sign of a much larger change taking place across Africa.
Casablanca Airport is 7 local time. The outside temperature is 21 degrees centigrade.
The aircraft itself has become a reflection of Africa's changing connections. After hours crossing the Atlantic, the aircraft begins its descent toward Casablanca, a city that has spent decades positioning itself as a meeting point between continents. As passengers disembark Mohammed V International Airport, the scale of the operation becomes visible. Passengers move through the terminal in every direction. Some are arriving in Morocco. Others are continuing their journeys elsewhere. The airport feels less like the entrance to one country and more like a crossroads connecting an entire continent. Inside the terminal, the story becomes even clearer.
Is Morocco. This is Casablanca.
By investing in aviation, transportation, and tourism infrastructure, Morocco changed the way the world sees the country.
The international airport I think the best airport, one of the best airports.
For Africa, this is especially important. The continent has more than 50 countries, but historically, traveling between them has often been difficult. A journey between two African cities can sometimes require passing through another continent. Casablanca helps solve part of that problem. China's economic relationship with the continent has grown rapidly over the past 2 decades, creating new movements of people, investment, and trade. The departure screens tell the story. Paris, London, New York, Montreal, Dakar, Abidjan, Lagos, Luanda, Johannesburg, one terminal connecting different regions of the world. This is what makes a hub airport powerful. It does not only serve the city around it, it creates connections between places that may otherwise struggle to connect. The departure boards display destinations that reveal Casablanca's importance. European capitals, African economic centers, North American cities, major routes across the globe. This is what separates a normal airport from a global hub. A hub does not only serve its own country, it creates connections between places that would otherwise be difficult to reach. And Casablanca has become one of Africa's most important examples of that idea. But this airport did not become a global gateway by accident. It is the result of a strategy. Morocco understood that in the modern world, connectivity creates opportunity. A country can have beautiful landscapes, rich history, and incredible culture, but if people cannot reach it easily, that potential remains limited. Morocco made a decision to invest in connectivity, and one of the biggest tools behind that strategy was Royal Air Maroc. Royal Air Maroc became much more than a national airline. It became a bridge. Instead of only bringing visitors into Morocco, it created a network that allowed passengers to move through Casablanca toward other continents. Atlantic creates direct routes toward North America. West Africa lies naturally along Morocco's southern aviation network. For centuries, this region has connected civilizations, cultures, and economies. Today, those connections happen through aircraft instead of ships and caravans. But geography alone does not create success. Inside the airport, that strategy is visible everywhere.
You said breakfast? Huh? Breakfast?
Yeah, breakfast for the...
Yeah. you want? Coffee with milk or black coffee? I need my meal ticket, so I'm going to have my breakfast.
Large terminal spaces designed
So I
for
want the
international
best you have
transfers.
for breakfast, please.
Lounges for passengers with long connections. Restaurants and services that allow travelers to remain comfortable while waiting for their next flight. Even transit facilities designed for passengers who may spend many hours inside the airport. Everything reflects one goal: make Casablanca an easy place to connect. Because modern airports are no longer just buildings where planes arrive and depart.
4 restaurants, 1 menu. Coffee with milk, small water, croissants. This is breakfast, sir. Give me boarding pass, sir. Oh my goodness.
They are economic engines. They influence where tourists go, where businesses invest, where countries build relationships. This explains why Morocco has become Africa's most visited country.
There's no sugar in.
The country already had extraordinary attractions: ancient cities, Atlantic beaches, mountain landscapes, the Sahara Desert, a rich cultural history. But tourism does not grow only because a country has beautiful places. People must be able to reach them. By improving aviation links, transportation, and infrastructure, Morocco made itself accessible to the world. And Mohammed V International Airport became one of the most important entry points into that success story. Standing inside Casablanca Airport, it becomes clear that this place represents something larger than Morocco. It represents a lesson about development. Countries compete not only through natural resources or geography, they compete through connections. The ability to move people, goods, and ideas quickly can determine economic success. This is why airports have become so important. They are not simply transportation facilities. They are gateways for tourism. They are meeting points for business. They are bridges between economies. The Chinese passengers, seen throughout this journey, are part of this bigger transformation. Their presence reflects how global Africa has become. The continent is no longer isolated from the world's major economic networks. New partnerships are forming. New industries are developing. New connections are being created. And airports are becoming the places where those connections physically meet. Morocco's success with Casablanca raises an important question for the rest of Africa. Can other countries create similar aviation hubs? Can better connectivity unlock more tourism? Can stronger air networks increase trade between African nations? The answer will shape the continent's future. Because Africa does not only need more destinations, it needs better connections between those destinations. As another aircraft prepares for departure at Mohammed International Airport, thousands of passengers begin another journey. Some are traveling for business, some for tourism, some to build new opportunities. But all of them are part of the same story. A story about movement, a story about connection, a story about how one airport helped transform Morocco and became a symbol of Africa's growing place in the world. Because sometimes the future of a country is not only built on what exists within its borders, sometimes it is built on how effectively it connects with everything beyond them. And in Morocco, that connection begins here.